Welcome to Phoenix Talks. We are live once again. Sorry for the pause in between, but Miss Diane and her company were honored in Atlantic City last week. You guys are great. You're doing a great job. Thank you so much for all that you do. I'm
Thank
going
you.
to look away from the camera for a second while I get over to my computer so I can see the live chat as people
Um,
come in, and also let our live audience know that we are live as
yes.
autocorrect wants
I,
to put on the L word.
yes, let's talk about the L word. Do you want me to talk? Because I actually want folks to ask questions because there's too much to cover on this topic. So I'd like to be as specific as possible because there's a lot of different branches and levels of love.
Definitely.
And I guess we could start there because it's multi, it's seen in multiple ways. It's kind of like the F word. It's very, very versatile.
It really is. And
Right.
you know what's crazy is that in the promo, I mentioned about the misuse and how many times, we just toss this phrase, I love you, around. How many times do we just do that? And
Right.
there are times where it can be very, oh my God, I love you so much when we say it. Then there'll be times, oh, I love that, where it's just excitement. And then there's, I love you too, which, translates into F you.
Yes. I'm just typing for folks who come on so that they know to please ask a question.
That's
Uh,
fantastic. Thank you.
yes. Um, and and so circling back to the first aspect of it, it is a frequency.
Yes,
Um, and it's a measurable frequency according to the Spain measure of frequency, that Spain scale. It measures the lower vibrational energies, emotions, and higher vibrational energies and emotions based on external stimuli to evoke these emotions. So they can see what frequency they're at. So love is a frequency. It's a very, very high frequency. It's not the highest, but we need to get to it in order to get to the highest. So if you just put it in scientific terms, it's a frequency. What does
right.
that translate to in the human world? Because boy, does it affect us in so many different ways, and that all depends on our perspective. So let's talk about love in the human form, first of all, because that's, I'm sure, where everyone's questions are going to be.
Oh, you're going to derail the thought train that I was just having on that because what I was, because the what you were bringing up was making me want to go to the spiritual side, which
Mhm.
everybody in some fashion, it doesn't matter what you believe, whether it's scientific or some religion or some type of spirituality, what's at the center of all of them?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
not the highest frequency, it is the frequency, but it's not the highest frequency because it's at the center.
Yes.
It's at the center of everything. It's the center of the universe. It's the center of Christianity. It's a center of anything that you're trying to reach.
Right. Sorry for all caps. I had my caps lock on by mistake. Sorry.
Oh my goodness. And you put that in the Zoom.
Oh, I did. I don't see. I don't know. I'm just okay. Wherever it
That's okay.
landed, the
That's all
L
right.
word. It's all good.
It is. It's fantastic. It's fun.
Um, but
But
yes, it
definitely.
is the basis of all most. I can't say all, most religions. So it is across the globe in every religion, every culture, every society. It's a basic human need.
Hmm.
There was another test, so you could do your own research somewhere in Germany where they had this is back in days when they did kind of tests like this. You couldn't do this today. Disclaimer, back in the 19 something somethings in Germany, they did a study to show two different babies. One was held and nurtured and loved by a human. One was never touched. The one that was never touched, even though it had the same accommodations, clothing, clean, food, all that stuff, it died. It didn't make it.
Mhm.
So it kind of proved they never did those things again, but it kind of showed that, okay, an unnurtured child, like love is a real aspect of human existence,
It really is.
basic human need. So
Mhm.
why do we mess it up so much? Why is it so traumatizing? Why this? Why that? What, the human part of love. So, and I think maybe we should each come up with our own definition of what love is to us. And that kind of defines what it looks like in your experience.
Right. And you can read books, you can listen to people, you can talk about it, but at its very essence, it doesn't have a form.
Mhm.
It's an action, yet a noun.
Yeah.
It's an adjective, but also an adverb. Lee, lovely. You know,
Mhm.
it's so many different things. And so many times, and this, I think this is one of the things that has been weighing most about talking about the L word when it comes to like mental health, is there is so much pressure put on by other people to love someone else as you would yourself. Well, what happens if you don't love yourself? How are you going to treat other people?
What happens when you don't even realize that you're not actually loving yourself when you think you are?
Right.
So that's not practical or realistic. I think the reality is learning how to love yourself. So like my definition of what love is, um, it's everything, like you said. I believe that too. It is everything, energy, action, thought, behavior, feeling, whatever. It's the whole gamut. But
Mm-hmm.
what does it represent in me? I'm going to say is the way I try to embody love and I am love is to present myself in a continuous state of regulation and provide compassion and a safe, peaceful place for people to feel welcomed without judgment and without anything that's less than safe. So
Right.
that's how I attempt to embody love. And that's what I have as experiences in my world.
Right. And in the past 25, because this is our 26th episode, can you believe that?
Oh my God, really?
Yeah. In the last 25 episodes, we have
Wow.
talked about ways of expressing love to yourself,
Mhm. Right,
validating yourself,
right,
not judging or judging yourself,
right.
remembering that there are things throughout every single day where you have expressed love by just being.
Right.
And too many people forget, even I do.
Yeah.
There can be major accomplishments in a single day or recognition in a single day, yet everything else is weighing down on those little bitty aspects of myself
Mhm.
that don't like me very much
Right,
and strap and take away from that loving experience.
right. Oh, that's a hot topic right there. Without that experience of loving yourself, you may not recognize the ways in which you're limiting experiencing love externally.
Right.
That was a mouthful.
We're gonna have many of those. I'm picking this up today. We're gonna have a lot of mouthfuls today.
Yes. Yes. So the 25 episodes that we've had before this have been basically teaching you how to love yourself and how to give yourself that, hold space for yourself, hold a safe space for yourself to just be authentic with yourself
Mhm.
and feel that kind of freedom for yourself, because that's what unconditional love is. It feels like freedom. It feels like hope. That's the emotion of it, and I'm sure it has a different emotion for different people.
Right.
It's not love that's painful. It's the love that we feel for someone who can't see us and understand us the way we need to be heard and understood and seen and appreciated. It's that part, the lack of love that we're receiving, that is painful,
Mhm.
not the love that we have within us and the love that we give.
And that expands beyond just not having. I mean, it's not having is at its most basic of that thought,
Right,
because not having includes someone that you love making a transition,
right.
someone that you love departing,
Hmm.
making a break, someone that you love hurting you to where you don't want to be with them anymore. Now, there's all of this external. Yes, it's true. I'm not going to say that any of that is not hurtful. So love can be hurtful, but that's because we take the love that we have inside and we pass it on to them. We make that connection with them, create that rapport with them, or whatever that it is. And once that's gone, there's a void
Yeah,
which becomes painful, and we can't grab it back from them.
right.
They've taken that from us. But what can we do? What can we do is find another way to fill that void. And by holding ourselves accountable, forgiving ourselves,
Yes.
validating ourselves, realizing and recognizing our self-worth.
Yes, very much so. And I want to add to another way of also feeling that love. And I just want this, I want to throw this out there. This is a little controversial for some people because there's maybe some resentments that need to be worked through and loved on. Um, but I truly believe that if you miss something about someone, it's okay to remember that and feel that feeling again and enjoy that aspect of that, even if it was for a brief moment of that situation.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that. And your loved ones that aren't here physically anymore, they're not gone. They're with you. So it is okay to access that energy. If you think about it, as a society, we're trained to like ruminate on negative stuff and repeat and relive and talk about it, over talk and relive it and relive it. So why can't you relive the joy and the love?
Exactly.
It's possible if you just focus on it and allow yourself to feel and fill yourself up with that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you block yourself from receiving that, ask yourself why.
Right. And you remember a few weeks ago when I walked everybody through that feeling exercise just based
Yeah.
on thought. It's completely possible. We forget. We're human. We're all human, and we all forget that we have that capability of just tapping into thought and recognizing that people are human beings,
Right,
and all human beings all have a mind, they
right,
have consciousness, they all have thought, and sometimes it just gets a little dirty and muddied up.
right.
So being hard on ourselves, we're actually taking away the self-love that we could be having.
Hmm. Right. So when you're hard on yourself, you're judging yourself. So the safest people that you know, the first thing that comes to your mind, I guarantee will be judgment. You don't
Yep.
feel any, hence why you feel safe. You feel safe because they don't judge you. So why are you judging yourself if you're not making yourself feel safe?
Because it's new.
So, and you have to give yourself permit. You really do have to give yourself permission. Permission is a piece that a lot of people aren't aware of and don't know about. So this is really, really key information.
Right. And if you and if you're watching this on the replay, go to the playlist because there was an episode that permission was talked about.
Right, right. And
And
it,
that was a juicy episode.
yeah, it is true across the board, especially when it comes to allowing yourself to open up to broader ideas of love, what it looks like. A lot of people are stuck in the whole it's only romantic. No, that's not true. There's every form of relationship can give you that pure divine love that is super fulfilling if you're open to receiving that level of love. If it is that you're both safe for one another, beef each other up, love on each other, support each other, lift each other up, genuine pure love is appropriate across all boards. The intimacy part is this what separates the romantic love. So that's the only thing that separates it is the intimacy that you share.
Mhm.
You know, the emotion, the feeling of love can be across the board. So a lot of people limit themselves with, you can't love certain people because they don't fit in a specific box. Throw the boxes out, put them in that dumpster.
And also recognize that the box that's being presented to you was held on to by somebody else, and it's up to you whether or not you agree to take that box.
Yeah, yeah,
If you agree to take that box, then go ahead, fill it up with whatever you want to,
right.
and whatever you think you're expected to. Go ahead, fill it up. You have our permission to do so. We're not here to judge you if you choose.
And you don't need our permission, and who gives
Nope, not
a
even a
crap
little.
what we think?
Nope, not even a little bit.
And who gives a crap what we think? So you're good.
We could be right, we could be wrong. You may agree, you may disagree.
The
It
point
doesn't
is,
matter.
you have to decide for yourself what's right for you and what resonates for you. So
100%.
your definition of love is going to look different. My definition of love is going to look different than someone else's. It's where I'm at this stage in my life. I wasn't always here, but I promise you I wasn't. And I know I'm not the only one. So, but I've gotten to this state. It's much more peaceful where I'm at now, so I'm happy here. You know,
Yeah.
uh, you have to determine what you want it to be for you. Is there anyone with us now, or are we all,
We have a few that are watching the stream,
what questions
and
do
in the
they have?
chat. We don't have any questions yet, but if you are in the live chat
Yeah.
watching right now and you have a question specifically about love that you
Love, right. So
for
this
us
is,
to answer, throw it in the comments, and as soon as I see it in my periphery go up, a
yes.
quick shout out to my co-host from my other two shows, The Messengers and Omega Empowerment, DJ Carrie. She is in the live chat. Thank you so much for joining us. We love you, and so glad you're here. And to the two others that are watching quietly,
Thank
we're
you,
glad you're
thank
here.
you. Thank you, thank you. I would prefer you guys ask questions because there's so much to cover on this topic because it's so broad spectrum.
It really is.
So what is it that you guys want to know?
Otherwise, we're just going to keep following the thought train that comes to our minds.
And we both have ADHD, so good luck. It comes with a lot of side quests.
It really does. But anything that we talk about will.
Right.
But
So,
when it comes to talking about love, I actually want to ask whether you're live or watching the replay. I want to ask everyone this question. Do you love you? Can you look in the mirror and say, I love you? And not feel silly. Not go, I don't want to do that.
if you do that, start listing why you love yourself. Anything goes. You could even say, I love that I picked this shirt out. It doesn't matter. Start listing the reasons why, because Love on the cringy.
It is. But here's the thing that even I get caught up on is the difference between what you like and what you don't like about yourself that may be preventing you from having that feeling of love for yourself. So whether or not you like yourself, because you can like certain people and you don't like certain people, you can like certain parties since we're in that season or not. Do you love them all for who they are, for the perfect being that they are, making whatever decisions that you agree with or not? Because guess what? We're all perfect beings.
Yes.
There is no perfection in love.
There is no perfection in love. And if we're talking about body love, because that's a sensitive issue for a lot of people, um, I will add that if you follow the 5-second rule, you will be given homework and have to follow the 5-second rule. So what is not 5-second. So to me, it's like if you can't fix it in 5 seconds or more, or fix it, period, then it's off limits. So if you're going to not love physical aspects of yourself and you cannot change it short of some kind of surgical intervention, it's off limits from you doing anything less than pure love to your body. So you're going to need to learn how to appreciate this vessel that you have received and decide whatever it is that you're focusing on and not liking within yourself. Is it fit within that? Could you change it in 5 seconds or a few more minutes? Or
Yeah.
what it needs, you know what I mean? And then it's off limits from your hatred. You need to love those aspects. Then you need to switch immediately into focusing love into the vessel that is maintaining your spirit in this plane of existence on this earth.
And at worst, love the process that you take to overcome feeling that way. I know several people with body dysmorphia. There is a question in the chat, but I want to get this out before I address it. But I do know a lot of people with body dysmorphia. And there is a long process that some of them will go through so that they like themselves. Love the process because you get to choose.
Yes.
If you didn't have, now here's a completely different way of looking at that thought. Because if you didn't have it, you wouldn't go to the lengths that you have gone to discover different ways that you can like yourself. So love the process, embrace it.
Right.
And the question in the chat is from Miss Carrie herself. When do you know that you're actually there, where you do love yourself?
Oh, this is the big, dirty, sacred pink elephant in the room.
Oh my
Guess
God.
what?
I knew
You
she was
don't,
going to ask that too. I knew somebody was going to ask that.
and you're not going to like my answer, Carrie.
Nobody ever does.
You don't know what you don't know until you know it. So this is never ending. I'm still discovering ways in which that I need to love myself more deeply. It's a process of continuous evolution. So this is why we love the process. I love this ride. I love self-discovery. I love learning new ways that I haven't been loving myself and incorporating that love into my life. I love feeling this, high all the time with love. You know what I mean? This
Right,
energy high.
right.
Right. So there is no, you don't just surrender to not knowing and loving the process of learning to love yourself. So a good mindset shift is observe your experience from a heart-centered space of love and compassion to learn specifically about who you are as a person. That means paying attention to how you feel about what's being said to you, interactions, how people's energy feels with you. being consciously aware and doing the last 25 episodes of worth of work that we talked about,
Yeah.
that will help you learn about yourself, because you're taking your, if you're actively observing your experience and just in a constant state of pause so that you can assess how what's going on with you, then you're going to have more ease in processing everything, as well as uh, get excited about learning about yourself, because now you've shifted it from judgment and hatred and loathing and putting yourself down to, oh, guess what I learned today?
Right.
I learned I really don't like this. I'm not going to do that again.
That's loving yourself. That's when you know.
Yes.
And this week, earlier this week, or over the weekend, I can't remember. I lose track of days. But recently, I came across this amazing meme that literally embodied the want to want that I've talked about. Because you've got, now picture it, you've got two tellers, two windows for tellers.
Yeah.
One, nobody's standing at, and the other, there's a very long line. The one that has a very long line says, those who want change, people who want change. And everybody's standing in that line because they want change.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, there is nobody standing in the line that wants to change. So when you make that realization that you want to change how you feel about yourself and bring that love back in that you think is gone, it ain't. You recognize that feeling whenever you have a good feeling, because that's what love is. It's a good feeling.
Mm-hmm. It is.
And once you realize that you make these decisions that, oh, I don't like that, cringe, you, and you go and do something else that makes you feel good,
Yes.
please don't let it be drugs.
That's not the kind of good that you want, though, because
No.
that's not a sustainable good. That's a physical body chemistry good.
Yes.
And that's temporary and not realistic.
Right. Now, are you going to feel good 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 or 6 days a year? No. No, you're human.
No.
But when you make the realization that you don't like how things have been going, and you start holding yourself accountable that you are part of that, and you go and you decide, I'm going to get in the other line because I want to change.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That is one of the answers to your question, Carrie. There's so many other ways that that question could be answered.
Absolutely.
But
And
you know that you love yourself when you feel it. That's when you know.
yes.
Blank, blank.
A beautiful self-love thing you can do for yourself is to give yourself an immediate hit of all the happy chemicals in your brain, uh, with quite simply gratitude. But it's not just, yes, I am grateful for everything. No, no, sit with it and really allow yourself permission to feel grateful, authentically feel gratitude. There's the studies will show, they've done the research, brainwave chemistry kind of thing, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
it
And you and I, as coaches, when we sit with clients and we see a breakthrough, they don't have to tell us that they had one. It's unspoken.
Mhm.
They don't have to work it out. They don't have to give it form. It's just there. And you can see in their body and in how they're sitting, how their face looks, how they're breathing, something shifted, something clicked. Oh, you don't even have to say, yes, I know. Okay, yeah, I need to wait. No, that means that that goes right into the heap with I'm trying.
Yeah.
Because, okay, well, I kind of felt this right now, and but and then there's that but in the mind.
Right.
But this isn't permanent, and I'm not going to feel it tomorrow, and I have to do this, and then you're just going to go into the hall of mirrors that I've talked about on Facebook.
So part of self-love is also maintaining consistency, and that's something that folks also struggle with because sometimes they don't realize that you're supposed to keep doing the things continuously.
Yeah,
It becomes a habit. It becomes part of your being. It's just part of who you are now. You've now shifted your personality into your choice of who you want to be.
right. I mean, you are attuned in Reiki.
Mhm.
I maneuver energies. I'm not attuned according to those standards. But when you and I are working with somebody else's energies and we are helping them to align, it's a band-aid. It's an opportunity.
Yeah.
So when we are helping these wheels of
Yes.
energy
We
flow a
are.
bit better
Yeah.
so that you can function, it is up to you to maintain the consistency of what we suggest if it resonates. If it doesn't, and you find your own wisdom in it and it works for you, God
Go
bless.
for it.
You know?
Yes. That as long as you're inspired to find a way to heal what it is that you need to heal in the way that works for you.
But if you
And
come back to either one of us in 2 days, say, oh my God, I need another hit. Well, then it's a symbiotic relationship
mhm,
and
yeah.
external. It's not being taken internally about the changes. Sure, we'll help for a little bit, but eventually we're going to have to cut you loose.
Well, the whole
That's
point of us is
harsh
teaching you
to say.
how to love yourself so that you don't need us.
Right.
And we're not here for codependency. We're here to empower you to empower yourself. And so all these conversations that we're having is our inner expression of love expressed outwardly toward you because
Yeah.
we love what we do. We love helping people move on to their next level in life and whatever that looks like at whatever gifts we have to offer, it's meaningful. And I think that I'm very grateful to be able to share love on this platform. So
Me too.
I'm gonna give myself a little hit of serotonin, dopamine, and all those other lovely chemicals. Thank you.
Oh, I'm so glad that we came up with this concept because, you know, people don't the way that we do it,
Mhm.
it's just genuine. It,
It
it
is.
flows
It's
back
very
and forth.
real.
We almost broke the rule today, which I scolded you for. But
I
but
think it's better this way though.
these kinds of conversations, because we don't get to
Yeah.
give it's almost like a behind the scenes of what's going on in our minds as we are listening to clients
Yeah.
and other people in our lives and also things that we've been through ourselves,
Yeah.
learning not to validate so much, learning not to judge so much, giving ourselves permission, learning how to forgive others, eradicating regret.
Right. Right.
Oh, word is
Surrendering.
like the perfect follow-up to the last two topics because
Surrendering.
it's equally as difficult for people
Yeah.
to understand, to recognize, because it's so much. I don't understand the human capacity to be able to dwell into the negative so much more easily than the positive.
It's the programming. It's what we learned. It's what society, culture, and religion pushes into our brains since birth, from birth. That's all it is. So it's really up to you to determine to give yourself a clean slate and allow yourself to learn what healthy looks like. Educate yourself. We have access to the internet in 2024. It's free. You can educate yourself on any topic. Obviously, you're going to discern what's legit and what's not. If there's repetition on multiple reliable enough platforms that you deem reliable, not what someone else tells you is reliable.
Right.
You decide. And it's consistent, it's a consistent message, You can get the idea. Reflect on your life. Who made you feel safe? What did that feel like? What were they like? Why did they make you feel safe? What is it that they did for you that you liked? Reflect on those memories so that you could learn love. A lot of times, individuals maybe haven't experienced what it looks like. And so how do you know how to recognize it if you don't even know what it looks like? Educate yourself, expand your knowledge. That is an act of self-love. Do not maintain willful ignorance.
And there's so many people that enjoy dramas and romance, either novels or TV.
Mhm.
And you can't help when the writing is really good, the setting is just right, the music is perfect, and you can literally feel the connection between the two, whether it's real or not. You perceive it. And you're like, oh, and you're just rooting for them.
Yeah,
But you don't know how to feel love. You just did.
there you go. Yes, yes, you do. You just have to recognize and acknowledge what it is, and focus on the what made you feel safe. Marie, no. Mm-mm. She's asking for stuff.
Is it time for some nuts?
Uh, she's had an so I'm saying no, no more, mommy, because I love you. So is anyone else asking questions or just Carrie?
No, they're very quiet.
All right, so we're going off on our little
And
side branches and tangents.
yep, we're just gonna follow the branches. And one of the branches
So
that I just got shown was
so I want to mention one thing about one of the reasons why you're trying to learn how to love yourself. And that's because you didn't come this far just to come this far, and you haven't met your own highest potential until you have healed aspects of yourself that are literally your blockages from moving forward. So it's kind of like a video game. You're just kind of clearing all the blocks to get you to the next level
oh, now she's being
through
sarcastic in the
self-love.
chat because she just typed, "What's love got to do with it?" Um,
Dang it, girl.
she just wanted to hear me sing a cappella. But seriously, when you have all of these feelings that Diane just expressed and explained, and it's just pulling you down, well, what's on top of it? Is is what's pushing all of these feelings down? I'm not worth it.
Mhm.
I'm stupid. I'll never be able to. Is your self-talk
Oh, that makes me
holding,
cringe. Just hearing that makes me cringe.
is your self-talk causing you to fall out of love with you?
Yeah. That's one of
And
the first things I tell people to do is your first set of homework is to stop negative self-talk. All of it. Don't even curse yourself out when you spill your coffee. You may think that's fine. It's not. No more self-deprecating, even
no,
in jest.
no.
Not funny.
And if you ever want to know how people self-talk to themselves, go to a family gathering and watch without saying a word, as cringeworthy as it can be. Just watch. Because the entire time you will want to. How's that working for you? I mean, seriously, how is that kind of talk outwardly towards other people about yourself working for you? Do you what?
So one in our whatever episodes, we discuss how you teach people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. So you kind of can't complain about getting beat up on all the time if you're doing that to yourself and you're teaching people that that's who you are. The self-deprecation's got to go, period.
And here's the fun part. It's got to be done without putting pressure that you should.
So that's where that viewing yourself from a place of learning and recognizing that everything is cyclical and comes back to you, and compassion, knowing that you don't know what you don't know until you acknowledge it. Instead, go into the whole, oh, good catch, Diane. Good job. All right, so what are we shifting into now? This is how we really feel. Immediately when you catch yourself, no judgment. If you're getting rid of judgment, then there's no issues. You're not putting pressure on yourself. So remember that judgment piece has got to go in the dumpster with the rest of the crap.
But also understand that you're going to be gentle with the fact that because of the way that we have wired our brain, our mind, that we're going to put pieces of different things together based on what we see, based on what we hear, based on what we taste, on what we touch, all of these different things. I mean, think about it. We have, what is it? 40 million subconscious thoughts?
Right. Right. You're going to upset a lot of people when you learn how to love yourself right and you do what's right for you authentically. That's okay. They're not your people. You're in the wrong place. You don't change the flower if the flower isn't growing, you change the environment.
Right.
And we've talked about ways to navigate through different scenarios with different people for different reasons. So, there's a lot of meat and potatoes in the previous episodes if you haven't had a chance yet to go back and watch.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. This is such good stuff.
It really is. And I lost my train of thought.
The train will come back to the station in a minute.
It will. It usually does.
Yes.
But when you have a good feeling, when something makes you laugh, something makes you smile, something makes you pause, and this wave of calm just comes over you, or wave of laughter, a good feeling. Not one that puts you down, not one that you have to explain, not one that you have to validate and ask someone else, is it okay to feel this way? When you know that it's okay to feel how you are feeling in that moment, and that it's a beautiful place to be, that's love. When you give yourself permission to forgive, that's love. When you celebrate the fact that you woke up to another day for another chance, that's love. When you are capable of recognizing good things amidst shit, that's love. That's self-love. And loving somebody else is just a form of self-love.
Yes. That's not unconditional tolerance, though. We've talked about that.
Nope.
There's a difference. You can love somebody unconditionally from way over somewhere else, safe.
I love Donald Trump. I don't like him, but I love
way over there somewhere else.
him.
And we're not talking politics.
I apologize. That was the first that came to mind.
But it's a good example.
Other people may actually, and God bless you.
Yes.
Everybody's entitled to love who they want. Everybody's entitled to like who they want or dislike who they want.
Right.
But you're not entitled to be cruel.
No, and understanding and loving yourself helps you realize and understand that everybody's just figuring it out all on their own, and everybody's just walking around projecting their own pain. And Most everything has absolutely nothing to do with you.
Yep.
So all that negative stuff that you believe had actually nothing to do with you and everything to do with all those people that drilled that into you. Eesh. Let it all go
Yep.
and recognize that you're going to observe people and they'll show you who they are and what their demons are by how they present themselves towards you. And you'll know if that's a match for you. It's a frequency. Where are you at on the love spectrum? Are you a lower energy, lower vibrational love, or are you a higher vibrational love that understands and is regulated, that everyone's going through their own stuff? So keep that in mind when you're experiencing something funky.
And this is what I'm about to say is based on a recent personal experience where I won't go into details. Those involved will know. But there was a moment where my frequency went down and it went public. Got called out on it and recognized, oh, shouldn't have done that. But there was an essence of pain that somebody recognized. Now, the reason that I'm bringing this up is because when your love frequency is lessened, you're not liking yourself and it's going outwards, and somebody calls you out on it, they're doing it because they recognize something ain't right. So don't take it personally that they're calling you out, because they're actually just showing you and giving you an opportunity to reconnect with yourself. And snap out of it.
Mm-hmm. Right. Be realistic. I think that's an important piece that you're bringing up because you have to be realistic and hold yourself accountable. But that also, when you do that for yourself, you're able to more hold someone else accountable. So even in the dating world, in the friendship world, and whatever world, we all create fantasies in our mind about people instead of seeing them for the reality that they are. So are we really loving the version of them that they are in this reality, or are we loving the version of them that is fantasized about based on whatever fantasies we're creating about them? So, so for you to be authentic with yourself and love yourself is to help you discern and maintain accountability, not just towards yourself, but viewing others and holding them accountable to themselves. If they're not in alignment, they're not in alignment. Move on. But don't lie to yourself and see their potential based on their, what are they showing you?
Right.
Are they showing you that they match their potential that they verbalize to you? What, you got to let,
Or they gaslighting you, and that's a big thing.
right. What does it feel like to you? Do you feel safe? Do you really trust them?
Or is that accountability button, hey, yo, you did this, is that flickering inside, which is creating these physical sensations of
Yeah.
wanting to, release them in whatever form.
Right.
And somebody just pushed that button and you deflected on them. Now, that's the difference between somebody coming to you, calling you out on how you just acted, and gaslighting you. That's a different feeling.
Yes.
Because then you are introspective of, oh, well, maybe they're right.
Right.
Until you realize that you're being gaslit.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's, okay, no, that's not how I was feeling. You just made me feel how you wanted to make me feel. So there's one of the differences. And I wish that I had been able to have this conversation. Okay, guys, go and watch Omega Empowerment.
I was just going to talk about that.
Because we just wrapped up talking about narcissism.
Yeah.
deals with love bombing, especially to those who don't understand it and are longing so much to have it.
So there are ways to tell. There's actually, I mean, I would love to have a conversation one day if I can. I don't. I'd have to like take a break from work because it's in the middle of the day. Maybe we'll figure something out. We'll talk offline. But anyway, the trick is to learn yourself so well that you become solid. So when somebody else tells you what they're trying to convince you reality is, and you know it's not correct, you don't gaslight yourself.
Yes.
So it's important to get to know it, but then you're also needing to pay attention to actions. Actions tell you everything. What's their behavior towards you? What's the energy they're bringing to you? What are their actions telling you? It's not about what they're saying, because people can present you the Brooklyn Bridge and,
Oh, yeah.
you end up with a couple of pieces of wood to throw over the water, like you gotta really.
Oh, and in the chat, Carrie would love to have you as well. Oh, hopefully sometime in the near future over on Omega Empowerment, which is also on YouTube on the Rise Radio
Yeah.
channel. It's also going to be put up on Spotify. So
Yay.
we will
This
get
is
you
so
on
great.
you
Yeah.
can conversation and enjoy some great music from our community. So I think
Yay.
that, yes, yes, that would be so awesome. I got a second yes in the chat. Oh, there's a lot of excitement for that.
Yeah, so much to talk about on all of this. Um, we can't reiterate enough that loving yourself is so very important.
Where it
And
begins.
this is a topic where if somebody sees this later on and they do have specific questions, we will talk about more, because this is never ending. This is a
Yeah.
never ending conversation.
I mean, we're
Absolutely.
we're only going to go for a few more minutes, but we could go for a few more hours
And that's
because just round and round and round, because something else will pop in that we want to talk about when it
right.
comes up.
Right. Yeah.
But
So
the fact, if you stuck around this long, if this just kind of popped in your feed and you're still here and you're still watching, something triggered inside. Something within. All right, I want to start loving myself. I want to understand. Because I know these guys, they have shit days, they have shit weeks, but they get it. And we pop out of it because we love ourselves enough
yes.
for the accountability, for the integrity, the awareness. And you know what's crazy about all of it is that every human being on the planet has the same capability
Yes.
because we all come into this form with a mind. We stem from the same universe that has planted seeds of wisdom inside. And we take all of that and with our conscious thought, understand that our reality and our perception starts there.
Yeah. There
So
was a
go ahead.
quote. There was a quote from when I was a kid. And it was on like some card that my sister got, and it was like hanging in our closet. And it's just in my mind right now because it said, love is a tiny seed God planted in the mind, and when it blooms inside the heart, it makes a person kind. And that quote has always stuck with me, and it's so simple and true. And God is love. I mean, there's that part of the religion too. Like we talk about, they equate, the
Right,
spiritual aspects of it equate love with creation, source,
right.
God, or terminology is appropriate for your belief system. So it is that vibration of all that is.
I just put in the chat the title of a book that really talks about what I was pointing to. It's called The Enlightened Gardener by Sydney Banks.
Okay.
And it's so simple. You can't work it out. You can't figure it out. It's just something that once you know, you know.
Yeah. And we're almost at an hour.
We are almost at an hour.
Yes.
And, I'll go to my phone. There was a quote that I came up with just tonight that this is the opportunity to share it once I find it. Okay. When it comes to how you think about yourself, the breakthroughs that you have, the aha moments, the feelings that you have, well, trying to create form from the formless forms a formless bond to trying to figure out what the form is. Feelings have no form. So trying to work out why takes away the beauty of those feelings. So don't work it out. Don't try.
Surrender to the process and enjoy the ride. Thank you for
Oh, you're welcome. And I think that we're going to go ahead and wrap up for this week. Not sure what we're going to talk about next week. Who knows? Could just be an extension of this.
that. Let's see if there's any feedback that comes in between now and whenever.
Yep. And if it's first time that this has come into your feed, it came at the right time. And go ahead and click that subscribe button on the screen. Click the bell so you're notified when we go live, so that you can find us more easily. We're also going to be over on Spotify probably by next week with the rest of the episodes. It's still in process getting them all up. It takes a little while. So eventually all of the episodes will also be up on Spotify. You can find them all on my YouTube in the playlist under Phoenix Talks. So and like I said, click that bell, click that subscribe button, because the more that we have, the more that we can touch, the more that we can reach out and have these conversations with. And if you are watching the replay, please let us know in the comments if there's a topic that you would love for here. There's that L word, that you would love for us to talk about. We're all ears, and we will have that conversation with you. And I'll even extend, if there is somebody who would like to join the call and have the conversation with us, we will also start taking suggestions for that.
Absolutely.
And requests, because Phoenix Talks is an amazing experience for Diane and myself and anybody who watches.
Yes. And I would love to experiment with asking folks to post questions that we can focus on when we have the chat.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's always welcome.
Yeah.
So, and if you watch again on the live and it's live, we will address what we can based on the topic that we're talking about.
Thank you, everyone.
Until then, say goodnight, Diane.
Good night. Thank you.
And as always, I'm Micah, also known as Brindle Wolf, and we will see you next week on Phoenix Talk, same time, same channel. And be sure to love yourself and keep going.
Bye.